Two-headed right, two heads are better than one-headed right. Two heads are better than one-headed right. Two heads are better than one-headed right. Two heads are better than one.
Hello, welcome back to our channel. My name is Evelyn.
My name is Monty.
And together we are the Two-Headed Writer, a father-daughter writing team currently stuck in Oklahoma.
We'll talk more about that. We get together once a week, usually over the internet, but today we are in person to catch up with one another on our writing endeavors. We are writing a book together. We are each writing novels separately. Evelyn is studying creative writing at school, and we talk about the things we're doing and the places where we get stuck. And hopefully it'll be helpful to you as well on your writing journey. Well, let's just talk about what's going on. So, coronavirus, right? And we, through an abundance of caution, have decided to do these online so that you don't have to catch a virus from us in our large audience talks that we give in my imagination.
This is technically our spring break. However, my school, the University of Iowa, has decided to kind of extend spring break, and we are doing classes online for 2 weeks. And so I'm staying home during those 2 weeks, and we shall see. They have not decided what they're going to do after that.
OSU, my school where I teach, same thing. We are taking advantage of that opportunity to spend 3 weeks together in the same physical space. And hopefully it'll give us a little extra time to catch up on our writing and make progress on our book together. What do you think, Evelyn? Putting her on the spot in front of you guys. So I have to say yes now.
I have, I want to say 4 to 6 chapters left to notate in our book.
Yeah, it's right. It's literally right there on the screen as we speak. I can check that. We have 6 chapters remaining for you to notate and me to update. What's the next step after that?
Then I'm going to want to take a few days to not look at it before I read the entire thing again. But once I do that, I'm probably not gonna stop very much. Just try and do a section at a time if I can.
So you're gonna take a few days off and then read through the whole book.
Yep. And
make your whatever comments we still have. I have something to throw in the middle of that.
Yes.
Very sorry to say.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a couple of small issues that affect the whole book, and I want to discuss those with you before you read it.
Are these plot issues, or just like continuity of a fact issues, or?
One is more of a continuity of a fact. The other one is more of a, this is important to the core of the book kind of thing. The issue I'm most concerned about is Macy understanding what Aethermore means to other humans.
Okay.
So she has opportunities to learn that the human connection is important to the Inklings.
Yes.
Trent has opportunities to learn that the Inkling connection is important to humans.
Correct.
But Macy doesn't have that opportunity that I can find or remember.
Okay.
And she needs to know that in order to realize. So our main character is making a huge choice, and she needs the information she needs to make that choice correctly, and we haven't actually given her opportunities to learn that information.
Where would she get it if not from Trent and the other Inklings?
Well, she needs to get it from Trent and the other Inklings, but she doesn't. It never happens.
So just add a conversation
Um,
or two.
yeah. Once I started thinking about that and looking back for a place, I thought, you know what? Our Inklings have a purpose. But we get really caught up in them sort of acting out scenes for their human visitors. And we don't show them being purposeful with their purpose very much. A little bit.
I mean,
Macy.
one of them is Trent's Inkling, so he's doing it directly. One of them
Yes.
doesn't speak out loud at all. Two of them have dead humans. One of them's human is lost and asleep in the middle of Aethermore. Who are you expecting to be communicating with their human directly outside of the side characters that we already showed doing it?
All right. Well, there are also Will and Guard are Inklings. The princess slaves are Inklings.
The collars.
Hmm?
The slaves
With
have
the
the
collars, yes.
You showed Brownie doing it.
Brownie does it after Macy makes her choice.
So the Woodland Guard,
The closest.
the elves. You showed
The elves, yeah. The elves. Oh.
The snowman does it.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. Snowbob is the closest. The closest conversation to what Macy needs to hear. But all he's saying to his human is, your hair is a mess. You need to brush your hair. No, don't choose that shirt. Oh, she has no fashion sense. Humans, am I right? She does talk with one of the princesses at length. And that aspect never comes up in that scene. It could come up with the elves. I think maybe, she gets a little bit close to Holly. So what about Holly's human?
Is there a way we could add it into the Twilight Shadow conflict as well a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good thought. I think we should look at every Inkling interaction that Macy has and add it as much in many places as we can.
Yeah.
Without trying to, I don't want it to feel like we stuck a bunch of Band-Aids all over the book. But I feel like it's an entire thread that should be in there that's missing. It's kind of, as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh. No! On to our individual writing. I'll let Evelyn go first because she says she doesn't have much to tell.
Haha. Yeah, this past week has been gross and stressful, and I just did school stuff and not much else. I actually was just watching and editing the video that we filmed 2 weeks ago, and where we brainstormed some stuff for the story that I am outlining, and I remembered that after we had that conversation, I actually texted some of my friends and asked them, hey, what's the weirdest date you've ever been on? And got a bunch of replies from that. It was one that Olivia said that she was like, I don't know if this would be helpful, but my mom said she went on a date with this guy where they had a picnic at a botanical garden. That also brought up the question of what time of year is this book set? Because unless it's very early in the school year or very late in the school year, like,
It's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold, even here. Like, the botanical garden wouldn't be very interesting.
That's true.
So
you could go look at twigs.
Questions are all connected to each other. I'm like, where should I set this? What should they be doing? Oh my gosh, when should I set this?
I know, the beginning of a novel is just a lot of little pieces that you have to make match up. It's really...
And then I actually feel kind of inspired. We just watched Onward, the new Pixar movie.
Right. I was going to ask if you wanted to talk about that.
Well, I do kind of, because it's a quest format, and that's my other book is my quest. And watching that, I was like, ooh, you cannot take the road most expected, you must take the... I don't remember what the exact line was, but
Right.
So that made me be like, ooh, I want to work on my quest.
Yeah.
So
So how closely did the movie follow the quest format as you're familiar with it? Try to do this with no spoilers,
yes.
right?
So
Pixar's Onward,
yeah,
quest movie.
quest movie.
Talk.
So the main character is just living life. Generally, there's some good things, there's some bad things. It's not too terrible, but then
You don't get the feeling he's super happy.
yeah, something happens that shakes up the status quo, and all of a sudden, this character has a goal that requires them to leave their comfortable life, both physically and mentally, right? Physically, they're going to have to go on a journey to the outside world, and mentally, they're going to have to face their problems head on. Maybe they have a questing partner or two, maybe they're on their own, and in this and in my book, they've got at least one questing partner. They start off on their journey. They think perhaps they know the first step. They do the first step, something goes awry, and so now you fall into the obstacle part of the quest. And I did not count, but I believe, I should have grabbed my notes,
Oh, you should have counted.
but I think there's supposed to be 20 small to large, obstacles on a quest. Somewhere around there. A lot of obstacles. And they can be interconnected. One sequence of events can have multiple obstacles within it. What's a quest that we could talk about that's not spoilery because it's been around for a while?
Wizard of Oz?
Sure, we can do the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, that does fit the quest format actually pretty well. And an obstacle doesn't necessarily have to be a challenge, but it is like a stop on the journey, right? So meeting the Scarecrow, getting him down out of the field, that counts as an obstacle. And then...
So there's 3 right away.
Yeah, Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin
2
Man.
women.
And then there are also the more obvious obstacles of, the flying monkeys keep attacking us, and oops, fell asleep in a field of poppies, and...
Well, and there's stuff in the book that's not in the movie. They come to you know what? They come to a giant gorge.
Right.
Same, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but we have the same obstacle in this movie.
Yeah.
Just a giant gorge. You have to get across it. There you have to go down a river. Same in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There are these creatures that look like lions that come and try to eat them.
They eventually reach their destination, right? The destination where they think they're going to find the thing that they're searching for.
So Dorothy finds the wizard.
Mm-hmm. But then there's a twist, perhaps, that...
And the wizard's like, "Don't look behind the curtain! Okay, I'm fake. Go kill the wicked witch."
Yeah, so now they've got a secondary challenge, big main challenge to figure out, and, or they've been derailed, and it looks like maybe they can't do it, but they bounce back, and then they solve that, and then they get the thing they were searching for, and then they gotta return home, and depending on how complicated that is, there's even more obstacles in the returning, and then once they do return...
I don't think... We didn't really have obstacles to returning home in the movie, though, right?
No.
Yeah.
Once they have returned, they come back... Changed in some way. Yeah, so that is the main thing that I'm following. My quest actually once they get the item, there are still obstacles to overcome upon the return, because situations have to be resolved, evil has to be defeated, princesses have to be awoken, etc., etc.
Cool, man. So did this movie make you feel like your book is on the right track, or did it make you feel like, oh, there's stuff I didn't put in there, I still need to get layered in?
I still haven't, like, figured out all of the obstacle, like, detail things, right? But I did, like, watching it, I was, like, reviewing the steps in my head. I was like, yeah, quests, man. It's very formulaic, but then also there are lots of fun little twists and turns you can put in, and I really liked the ways that they subverted expectations within that story, and there are a couple things that I'm trying to do to subvert the expectations within my story, and I'm like
Right.
trying
You
to
could
figure
still have
out.
surprises within that structure.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, how did they do that? How did they set that up? And what do I need to do to set up mine? Where it's like you could figure out the twist, but also, like...
Yeah, a really good twist should feel obvious as soon as you see it. But up until then, you don't see it. Like, it's like a magician's trick. It's like, look at this hand, while this hand, the other hand is doing things.
Can't be too subtle or else people feel cheated. So, like, Frozen, for example, once you watch it, like, 3 or 4 times, then you're like, aha, it is obvious that this dude is evil. But the first, like, 2 times, you're like, wait, no, what?
I never trusted him.
I mean, I didn't think he was going to end up with her, but I was not expecting him to try to murder both of them.
Yeah, I didn't trust him.
Okay. Well, you complained a lot because you were like, they already set up the villain. It's the Duke of Whistleton, and he was evil enough on his own. And these songs are bad. So,
Did I say all that?
yeah, you did.
I stand by most of it.
There are other ways in which that story subverts expectations that make it, like, good. I like Elsa as a metaphor for mental health. Like, that's something that's cool and interesting to me. And that when she's isolating herself, that very clearly is not the solution. The solution is to open the gates and let other people in.
Alrighty.
And I like that they pretty quickly hit you with the solution to this problem is true love, right? But they don't straight out say, like, true love's kiss like they do in a lot of the earlier princess movies. Specifically, they go, true love, and then one of the trolls goes, true love's kiss, perhaps. It's just like a suggestion. Like, this is one of the ways we could do this. And they're like, oh, well, she's got a fiance, let's go, right? But it turns out that the act of true love that saves her is not something that is done to her or put upon her. It is something that she does for somebody else. And that is so friggin' cool. Also, the fact that yes, she does have Kristoff there, and he is helping her, but in no way is she really, like, saved by any male figure. Like, she works together with him. In fact, I've seen people, like, she was saved by Olaf. Olaf is the physical manifestation or representation of the relationship between the two sisters. So when he comes to save Anna, that is the love that she has for her sister, helping save her and give her hope. So
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
You talked me into it.
Onward also does a really cool thing with sibling relationships.
Yes.
And again, it's 2 siblings who aren't necessarily connected at the beginning. They don't get along, and they have to learn how to do that. in order to reach a common goal. And it was very touching, and I'm going to cry again if I talk about it too much. It was so good. And I like how they're foils to each other. And
I ended up liking the characters better than I thought I would, like from the previews.
yeah.
Like they felt more like real people than I expected. I thought, oh, the older brother seems cliche, like he's a jock or something, but he wasn't like a jock at all. He was he was kind of the nerd, and it really, he had a lot of depth to him, and I thought that I liked him as a person a lot better than I thought I would, and he felt more real as a person than I thought he would. And then there's all kinds of twists, like you say, subverted expectations at the end. We don't want to give away spoilers, but I thought it was good. I thought it was obvious once it happened. I'm like, oh, of course that's what's going on. But I didn't pick up on it until it was revealed, and I'm like, and that the moment makes you tear up and cry.
Yeah.
So
I was sobbing.
That's good.
I didn't even have to say anything. Mama just reached over and handed me a tissue.
I could hear you. It's like, oh, Evelyn's sobbing over there.
It was not Coco bad, but it was pretty bad.
We hope we have a moment like that in our book.
Yeah.
I mean, we've rewritten that chapter and polished it, and I think it's finally shining. You said you brought tears. You said there's one line where it hits you and
yes.
brings tears.
And I don't know why, but it's a Trent line, actually. It's from Macy's point of view, but it's a line that Trent says that, like, really hits home with me every time. It's a little act of, like, kindness that he does. And just the way that he, like, explains it to Macy, and, like, they're finally communicating, and it's just so good.
Yeah. Okay. I knew that, but I didn't know it from the way you were describing it. So, like, what that line means to you is surprising to me. That's cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, like, a culmination of things, but that line is, like,
where it hits home.
Yeah. For me, at least.
Oh, I have stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a minute to find my stuff. Hold on. So, my story, called Save the Fighting Marmalutes, is going to be published in the Brave New Girls anthology. This anthology, I think it comes out once a year. There's a bunch of previous versions of it. But it's all science fiction stories where the main character is a girl. The editor sent me a really nice email the other day. It says, Mary here, and I've got your next round of edits. It's all just nitpicks this time. Can you please send me the revised story by the end of the month? Let me know if you have any questions. And then, love this story, by the way. I think it's great how it shows the unintended consequences of a good deed, and the voice is amazing. I was like, yeah, wow. Okay, so why? So because voice is the thing, they all say. All the agents are like, we're looking for voice, strong voice, good voice, and I'm always like, I don't know what that means exactly. I kind of know. I might know what it means.
It's like, what?
Am I getting the voice right? Yeah.
This is such a weird way to phrase it, but you know that Supreme Court ruling on what defines porn, where the dude was like, I don't know it, but I know it when I see it. That's kind of how voices
we know when we see it. So apparently I got the voice right in this story. Hopefully I'm doing a good job with it also in our book together and in my own book and everything else. But I was just excited to get that little bit of feedback.
Yeah.
So since the email came, I have read through the story, looked at the edits. There weren't very many things. I fixed a couple of things. I sent it back.
He came into my room yesterday. Ooh. And he goes, hi, can I help you? He's like, is it bad to say that I love my short story?
I do. I'm so pleased with it, and I almost feel like I could say that because it's been so long since I wrote it. When I went back and read it, I was surprised by it. Like I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. It doesn't feel like I wrote it anymore, so now I can brag about it.
I'm going to have a piece published in one of the on-campus magazines. I was rejected by others, but actually the same magazine rejected a different piece that I was actually very proud of, and I had a hard time getting excited about.
Yeah, we were like, Evelyn was like, well, they accepted my piece, and I'm like, yay! And she goes, but they rejected the other one. I'm like, well, but they accepted one. And she's like, but they rejected the one I like. I'm like, well, but you like them both. That's why you submitted them both.
I had just recently finished writing the one they rejected, and so I poured a lot of time and effort into it recently. The other one I'd written like several months prior, and so it wasn't as fresh.
And you wrote more drafts of that too, didn't you?
I wrote various versions of it for class. It's a drama piece, which is interesting because that is not something that I tried to write until last semester when I had my playwriting class, and we actually had to write several different versions of the same story, and this is actually the version where no one speaks. It is all stage directions.
Really? That's what's getting published?
Yes.
All stage directions?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
different.
it's exciting. Because I got in this semester, that means that I can continue to submit as an alumni of the magazine in years to come.
It's freshman only, unless you've been published in it before, and then you can get published again.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. Whoever they pick up out of your freshman class, those people will get their works published.
Yeah.
Going forward. So, yeah. So good job, buddy. All right. Well, we'll have to throw you a release party.
Yeah.
And you'll have to throw me a release party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, neither of us is getting paid for these publications. But it is a significant first step on both of our journeys.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be bringing you more and more of those as we go along. Well, let's sign off, shall we? We've yammered a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do we sign off?
I need my arms. I need my arms.
You need your arms? All right.
That is all that we have for you guys this week. If you liked this video and you want to keep following us on our writing journey, remember to click that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, leave us a big thumbs up, telling us that you like the content.
And leave a comment. What was the most interesting date you've ever been on? Evelyn might use it in her novel. And someday it'll be published, and you can read it and say, that was my date. She put it in the book. So leave a comment.
We will be back next week with another video, but until then, remember.
Oh, we have to do it together because we're in the same space.
We will be back next week with another video, but until then, remember,
Two heads are better than one.